This is the a project made in collaboration with the National Film Board of Canada and the Guardian newspaper. The project's called Seven Digital Deadly Sins. I think at the center of the project, it's really about this moment where we are kind of embarked on this voyage into digital culture, and there hasn't been a lot of moments of criticism of what that behavior is. We're starting to get to a place where we can, and so what the project does through seven produced videos, a series of written articles written by Guardian journalists, and an interactive component that uses live data to participate in this notion of how we judge our own behavior, who is judging our behavior, and how we feel about our behavior on the internet. So the way that this project's organized is there's the videos are kind of the centerpiece, and we approached performers, authors, and comedians to talk about their relationship to a specific aspect. So the seven sins are sloth, greed, lust, gluttony, pride, envy, and wrath, and filled them on location in different places. So each section has a curated element, and so you can see these illustrations represent the stories that are written, and then in the centerpiece is a video. So Bill Bailey is a comedian, and he talks about slacktivism and how in this he used to go to protest and travel around the world, being quite involved in I guess would you call it, like just demonstrations about injustice, and in this case he's noticed a change in his behavior. Sort of, people call it slacktivism, that he clicks on a button to save the snails. I think there's no limit to the stories. I mean, I think you could almost, as a challenge, you could take any story, right, and find a way to present it in a different way. It's like reappropriation, sort of. I mean, when filmmakers generally start with a pre-existing story, they like a play or they like a book, and they write a screenplay out of the book, and then they go about visualizing that moment. I think in the same way, if the story touches you, is inspiring to you or interesting to you, or something that you feel is important to share, those are the things that I admire in a strong story, especially with documentary. There's a lot we can do with documentary that I feel isn't being done in terms of a point of view, and yeah. For the case of like Bear 71, which I'm going to show here, that's a few years back. It started as a collaboration with my friend and collaborator, Leanne Allison. She had this database, access to this database of photos, and we worked together to find out, to extract a story and then a concept out of that. A new project I'm working on now called Off the Grid. It's about a human relationship to electric signal, and that's slightly different, but in some ways, it's just one step back with the Bear 71. We had this bear as a data object only, like a story, but a conservation officer's story. Bear 71 was literally Bear 71. Here's a list of her behaviors, like the CEOs take notes when they observe nature. And so there wasn't a story, so to speak. It was very data-driven in terms of what her presence was. So we found a way to kind of figure out what the viewpoint was creatively, and what this observation and this process of documenting nature in turn told us about our relationship to technology and observations. So in this case, with this new project, I'm thinking about it from the start. I know I'm creating the content, so I'm thinking about it simultaneously, but really focusing on story to make sure the story is very strong, but keeping in the back of my mind how I'm going to kind of present this story in the end.